The second one is this: what kind of conversations are we having in our house? What are things that we're talking about in our house? And so, there's seasons where maybe there's no conversation because we're just so busy. Man, I hate that word. But again, there's 4 of us in this house that work. Me and my wife, and then my daughters work. They don't drive, but at least not yet. And so they're not driving yet. So that means we're the Uber drivers to work. And they're all involved in activities and things. And so the conversation sometimes is, what time do you work? What time do I need to pick you up? What time's practice? What time's it over? You got to bake how many cookies for what? Whatever. So what kind of conversations are we having? Are we having spiritual conversations? If we're not, perhaps it's okay to call time out and say, hey, can we just redial in our focus here just a minute? Let's get our north set again. Some wives and kids are more open to that than others. I understand. But if you have the opportunity, if the Lord allows you, call time out. I don't think I've done it myself. Hey, let's just get on the same page here. Let's just come together and pray. Let's talk about what we want to do. Again, we're reading John 1. We kind of agree. Like, what do you want to read? What do you want to read? Whatever. So, we get their buy-in. We want to make sure we're having edifying conversations. I know there's seasons where, man, you're on the fly, you're on the run. I have 2 daughters, so there's a thing. There's always a thing with, a friend or a teacher or whatever. My son is a little bit more like me, like he doesn't say a whole lot, kind of to himself. Then we find out later on there's a whole bunch going on. So you say, okay, what kind of conversations are we having? What kind of conversations should we be having? And again, if you're going to be the guy that helps direct this and lead this, maybe you need to initiate the conversation. Maybe you need to say, listen, I know it's busy. I know it's whatever. I'm going to order pizza tonight. And we're going to sit around the table. We're just going to get on the same page. Tell me what's going on in your week. Tell me, like with the pursue marriage thing, that a lot of it is questions because we want to help husbands and wives just continue to have conversation. I've never done marriage counseling with a couple where the wife said, I wish he talked less. Never had that. And then we do that with Pursue Wilderness, the Wednesday and Friday. It's designed really like for outdoors at a fire pit, or if you're on a trail, if you're kayaking or whatever. But those are really, really simple conversation starters just to get you all on the same page. You can do it anywhere. You can do it in a car. You can do it on the way to, like we're going to a college visit after a while. So you could do it anywhere and be like, hey, this first question, I got this off of a thing I follow. What is and go into that. So what kind of conversations are we having? What gets talked about? Is it the same thing all the time? Is it always negative? Is it always about a person, a family, a teacher, a sport, or whatever? Like, I'll tolerate it for a period of time, and I'll be like, all right, we're done. All right, we're going to quit the sport. We're going to do something. We cannot let this dictate the temperature of our house every day. And so I've said before, I do not need to be in every conversation in our house, but I need to be aware of the conversation in our house. That doesn't mean my wife and kids aren't having a conversation. I'm eavesdropping, listening on it. No, I'm not doing that. But I become privy to what are the conversations that are taking place. Sometimes, like the way our house is set up, just remaining in the kitchen area affords me a lot of opportunity to know what's the gauge of today. What are we working with? What's gone well? What hasn't gone well? And again, I don't have to be in it all. But knowing those things, being aware of those things, helps me understand what is required of me right now. I've really blown it on some days where my kids had a terrible day and I had no clue. I didn't take the time to listen. I didn't take the time to ask. I didn't ask them about themselves. I didn't read the cues. And so I blew it. And I said, well, you might want to learn from that.